Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Yashita Sharma and we are discussing everything that you need to know about the SNAP exam and the processes after the SNAP exam. आपकी हर process के लिए क्या strategy होनी चाहिए, what are the things that you need to keep in mind before appearing for a process and what will help you ace that process. अभी तक हमने GE और VAT के strategies discuss किए. आज हम डिस्कस करने वाले हैं पर्सनल इंटरव्यू या पर्सनल इंटरैक्शन एज दे ऑल्सो कॉल इट और उसकी क्या स्ट्रैटेजीज होनी चाहिए. सो गाइस, पर्सनल इंटरव्यू इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ दिस एंटायर प्रोसेस. व्हाई? बिकॉज इट लीव्स द मोस्ट लास्टिंग इंप्रेशन ऑन द पैनल. तो जीई में देयर आर सो मेनी कैंडिडेट्स दैट दे माइट नॉट गिव यू 100% अटेंशन. रिटन एबिलिटी टेस्ट में दे डू नॉट इंटरैक्ट विद यू पर्सनली. But in a personal interview, the panel gets to know you in person, in detail, and they will ask you everything that they want to know about you. उनके जो भी उस particular year के लिए उनके competencies होंगे या उस particular year के लिए whatever parameters they've set for candidates, they will test you on each and every parameter during that interview. So which is why this interview or this part is the most important part of the admission process. तो स्नैप के टाइम पे, सिम्बायोसिस कॉलेजेस के टाइम पे क्या चीजें हैं जो आपको बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है फॉलो करना टू एज दिस प्रोसेस. लेट्स स्टार्ट विद डिस्कसिंग द स्ट्रैटेजीज वन बाय वन. द फर्स्ट पॉइंट एज यू कैन सी हियर इज स्नैप फॉर्म. तो जब आपको कॉल आता है टू बुक योर स्लॉट्स फॉर द एडमिशन प्रोसेस, देयर इज अ स्नैप फॉर्म दैट यू आर रिक्वायर्ड टू फिल. नाउ द स्नैप फॉर्म एक्ट्स एज योर सीवी, राइट? तो वो आपसे आपका सीवी नहीं मांगते, बट दे आस्क यू टू फिल इन ऑल द डिटेल्स इन योर स्नैप फॉर्म. नाउ ऑल ऑफ अस नो हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट अ सीवी इज. दैट इज अ पीस ऑफ पेपर दैट गिव्स द मोस्ट इंप्रेशन अबाउट हु यू आर एज अ पर्सन. तो स्नैप फॉर्म में बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं. ये हम बहुत ज्यादा डिटेल में डिस्कस करेंगे, लेकिन शॉर्ट में इफ वी डिस्कस दिस, इट इज बेसिक योर एकेडमिक्स, वट एवर योर क्वालिफिकेशंस हैव बीन, आप पहले जो भी आपने किया है, एंड अ फ्यू क्वेश्चंस दैट विल हेल्प देम अंडरस्टैंड हाउ यू आर एज अ पर्सन, व्हाई यू वांट टू परस्यू एन एमबीए, व्हाई यू विल बी अ गुड कैंडिडेट फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉलेज, एंड व्हाई दे शुड टेक यू इन देयर कॉलेज. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट है. इसमें कई सारे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं जो आपसे पूछे जाते हैं, बट समटाइम्स अ लॉट ऑफ अस डू नॉट फिल दैट फॉर्म विद 100% ऑनेस्टी, क्योंकि हमें लगता है कि दिस इज नॉट समथिंग दैट विल हेल्प अस इन द लेटर स्टेजेस ऑफ द प्रोसेस, विच इज वेरी रॉन्ग. तो जब आप पर्सनल इंटरव्यू के लिए जाते हैं किसी भी सिम्बायोसिस कॉलेज में, लेट्स टॉक अबाउट SIBM और SCMHRD, the panel has your snap form in their hands, or you are asked to carry your snap form along with you, and they take your snap form, they go through your snap form and they ask questions based on what's written in the form. For example, आपने आपकी हॉबी लिखी है साइकिलिंग, राइट? They will ask you आपने कितनी साइकिलिंग की है, आपने क्या क्या किया. They will ask you everything about cycling, and if they feel that you've just written it for the sake of it, then they might not believe you completely in whatever you say, and your chances of converting that process become very less. So make sure that you fill in the snap form with 100% honesty and with everything that you actually believe in. सिर्फ इसलिए मत लिखिए कि आपका इंप्रेशन अच्छा होगा, सिर्फ इसलिए मत लिखिए कि कौन पढ़ेगा स्नैप फॉर्म, nobody has the time to go through so many answers. That is wrong. They will take their whole time until they're finally satisfied with your answers and the snap form. That is a very important part of your selection process. अगर आपका snap form सही से नहीं आपने fill किया है, then your interview process will not go as you expect it to go. So make sure that you dedicate a good amount of time in filling your snap form. Take help from people who have already graduated or got admission in symbiosis colleges, because they will have a better idea of what they expect from a candidate when they fill their forms. But do not copy their answers, because that is not going to work for you. वो समझ जाएंगे कि आपने ये आंसर्स आपके नहीं है और आपने किसी और से कॉपी किए हैं या ये किसी और के आंसर्स हैं. So all you need to do is put in 100% honesty when you're writing your answers in the snap form. The most important part and the first part. The second part is, जब आप इंटरव्यू के लिए जाएंगे, you will be asked a lot of questions. So there are a couple of questions that you should know the answer to thoroughly. आपसे पूछेंगे why do you want to pursue an MBA? This is the most commonly asked question in all the interview processes across all the B schools, be it IIMs or the private B schools or any other B school. तो आपको पता होना चाहिए कि आप MBA क्यों करना चाहते हैं. If you ask me what your answer should be for this question, I will not give you the answer, because again, that will be my answer and not your answer. But what I can tell you is, you should know that at what point in your life you realized that you wanted to pursue an MBA. What was the thing that actually attracted you about MBA? When did you decide to start preparing for your MBA? When did you decide to write all the exams? When did you decide what course you want to take? और आपने कैसे अपनी MBA जर्नी पूरी स्टार्ट की और कहाँ पे जाके आपको लगा कि दिस इज इट, दिस इज व्हाट आई वांट टू डू इन माय लाइफ. तो ये जेन्युइन चीज होना बहुत जरूरी है. अगर आपकी कोई बहुत जेन्युइन स्टोरी नहीं है, and if you just thought that you wanted to pursue an MBA because you wanted to explore it, or because you thought it was the most lucrative option for you right now, then say that, write that, but write it in a way that does not feel like you're only running after money, because that is not what they want from the candidates. Make your story sound genuine. Tell them why you want to pursue an MBA, and tell them how you will use this MBA in future to build your life, to actually make something out of the education that you're getting, and how you're going to impact more people and the society at large with your education. This is what they want to know. The next very common question is, why this particular specialization? For example, you are going for an interview and they ask कि आपको कौन सा specialization choose करना है, या फिर आप जो majors लेंगे वो किस में लेंगे. If you say you want to pursue marketing, they will ask you why. You should be prepared with that answer. You should know कि आपको मार्केटिंग क्यों करनी है. इसका आंसर ये नहीं होगा कि क्योंकि मुझे ह्यूमन रिसोर्स या ह्यूमन रिसोर्स या ऑपरेशंस या फिर फाइनेंस मुझे नहीं करना है, इसीलिए मुझे मार्केटिंग करनी है. दैट इज नॉट द आंसर. You should know why you're attracted to this particular field of MBA, and when was the point you decided that you wanted to pursue this specialization. अगर आप confused हैं कि आपको कौन सा specialization लेना है, then tell them that these are the two specializations that I'm confused between, because I have an inclination towards both and I'm yet to find out what will be the best suited specialization for me as a person. तो आपको ये answers prepared होने चाहिए. Do not get lost when they ask you these questions. You have to know why you're pursuing an MBA and why you're pursuing a particular specialization. ये बहुत important questions हैं. Now we move to the more basics of a personal interview. Confidence. The most important thing that a panel looks for in a candidate is confidence. MBA is a journey that is very taxing, that will make you question yourself a lot of times, because you might want to land up in a company that somebody else lands up in, and so many other situations. In those times you have to be confident of yourself. अगर वो आपसे एक क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे और आप नर्वस हो गए, या आप शायद सही आंसर देते हुए भी आप कंफ्यूज हो गए और आपने गलत आंसर दे दिया, that does not give a very good impression. You have to be very confident of yourself, of your answers, of your choices. You should reflect your confidence in the way you're talking to them. Even if you're wrong and they point that out, just say I'm sorry and then continue with your answers. Do not try to justify why you gave a wrong answer, or do not try to justify why you're so nervous. Work on your confidence. It is very important and it will help you a lot in your personal interview. The next is body language. As we discussed for GE also, body language is very important. Similarly, the body language is extremely important when you're appearing for a personal interview. Do not shake your legs, your feet or your hands. Do not, fidget in your chair. Do not have a slouched back. Do not look nervous. अपने nails को मत bite करिए. Do not do anything that shows them that you're getting nervous. Sit upright. Have a posture that reflects confidence, and have a body language that is positive, and keep smiling, and do not try to indulge in unnecessary conversation, or do not try to be very friendly, and do not try to be very timid also. So there has to be a balance. आपको confident दिखना है, आपको आपकी body language positive रखनी है, और आपको nervousness नहीं दिखानी है. There will be times when you will be nervous, but the key is to not let it show on your face and your body language. Very important point, keep that in mind. उसके बाद है honesty. So as I said, जैसे आपने snap form में कुछ लिखा, अगर आपने लिखा कि आपने nationals खेले हैं basketball में and you're not able to show the proof for the same, It shows that you're lying and you're dishonest, and at that very moment they will mark in their copies that you are not being admitted in the college. अगर आपने कुछ नहीं किया है, आपके extra curriculars नहीं हैं, then do not just make those up. It is not important that everyone has a lot of extra curriculars on their CVs. But what is important is how honest you are and how eager you are to build upon your CV. If you tell them that I have not been able to pursue a particular thing until now, but I plan to do that in the future, that will be a better point than lying about something and getting caught and actually giving a very bad impression. इसके बाद है to the point answers. अगर आपसे एक question पूछा है, then do not beat around the bush. If you know the answer, give the answer. If you don't know the answer, take 10 seconds. If you still don't get the answer, tell them that I'm sorry, I don't know the answer to this question. This gives out the message that you're honest and you do not want to waste their time, because they are much smarter than you think they are. They will understand that you're just beating around the bush, you're just talking irrelevant things, and that will really put them off, and they might just then and there decide in their minds that we do not want this candidate in our college. So keep that in mind. Always give to the point answers, be precise, be concise. And the last जो मैंने extras लिखा है, extras के बारे में मैं सिर्फ ये बोलूंगी कि हर साल अलग अलग competencies check होती हैं. किसी साल maybe they want to check what your articulation is like. In some other year, they might want to check how well you interpret data. In some other year, they want to check how well your communication skills are. So, हर साल the parameters keep changing. So, you can never be prepared for that. But for example, if you go in for an interview and they hand out a puzzle to you, there are very high chances that they want to check your approach of problem solving. If you go inside, they hand you a question which has a lot of data in it. Very high chances that they want to check your data interpretation and data reading skills. So you have to understand, आपसे जिस type के questions पूछ रहे हैं, you have to understand उस question से कि what are they trying to check, and then you should try to give answers in a way that actually are in sync with what they have in their mind. It is not necessary that you will be right about what they are trying to check in you, but there are very high chances that if you're conscious, you might give better answers. So this extras is about that particular thing कि आपका एक judgment होता है जो आपको समझना पड़ेगा कि वो आप में क्या चेक कर रहे हैं. और एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज जो मैंने यहाँ नहीं लिखी है, जो कि एक्स्ट्राज में ही मैं पुट करूंगी, इट इज यू शुड नो हाउ टू ड्राइव द इंटरव्यू. If there's something that you want them to ask about, for example, you write poetry and you've been writing poetry ever since you were in school or in undergraduation or whatever, then you should make it a point that if they ask you something, you drive the conversation in the direction of poetry. अगर आप बोलेंगे कि मुझे ever since I was a kid, I loved reading poetry and that made me want to pursue poetry writing as, you know, one of the things that I like. And I've been writing ever since then there are chances they will ask you कि आपने क्या लिखा है, what is the platform that you use to publish your poetry, are there any prizes that you've won, are there any competitions that you've participated in, are there any open mic events that you've went and spoke about, you know, about your poetry, and so on and so forth. So you should know how to drive the conversation in the direction that you want them to ask questions to you. So these are the basics of a personal interview. These are very important points, and I will again repeat that personal interview is the most important part of the admission process, more important than the GE and the written ability test, because it gives out the best impression of who you are as a person. I hope all these points were informative to you. I hope आपको समझ में आएगा कि आपकी preparation कैसी होनी चाहिए for a personal interview. अगर अभी भी आपको लग रहा है कि कुछ चीजें हैं जो हमने miss out की हैं, or anything else that you want us to cover, or any questions that you have for us, please write in the comments below. We'll be more than happy to address all your questions. And so we've discussed about the GEPI and VAT processes. We're going to discuss a lot of other things कि आपको कैसे approach करनी चाहिए when it comes to SNAP as an exam. So please keep watching our videos, subscribe to the channel so that you do not miss out on anything, and also press the bell icon because you are going to get a lot of videos and we don't want you to miss out on anything. I will see you back very soon with another interesting piece and another interesting way of how to prepare for SNAP and post-SNAP. Until then, keep studying hard and all the very best.